Hello, welcome to the CraftStash live broadcast. I'm Jeanette Lane and I'm here with Pete Hughes.
Yay! Good to be here.
Pete, we are so excited to have you every single time. It's such a treat.
Oh, come on.
No, it is. It's amazing because you're so talented and you have some beautiful Sizzix Chapter 4 Christmas dies to share with us.
Chapter 4, yes. We're going to be looking at some of the Tim Holtz Chapter 4 in this hour or however long it takes. So we got some lovely samples. We've got some nice techniques to share with the folks as well.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be great. It is.
Pete has some demonstrations for us, and they're all Tim Holtz dies that you're using, I believe.
They are all Tim Holtz dies, yeah. Having said that, the chapter 4 this year is very, very strong. We've got some lovely dies. Some of them are festive, some of them not. We have brought our festive ones because we know everybody's in festive mode at the moment.
Yes.
I just want to sort of share a few kind of different techniques because with Christmas we tend to go down that traditional route. Maybe we'll spice it up with a few color palettes. I want to get a bit messy as well because we like to do that, don't we? So
absolutely.
My hands are already covered with ink and paint, so yeah.
Yeah. So besides Pete's amazing demonstrations, we also have some prizes to give away. So 3 chances to win some Sizzix die bundles that Pete has handpicked himself. So we're really excited. But before we go any further, we need to make sure that everybody can hear us and see us, and we want to say hello to some people. And if you would like to share the love with Pete, say hello, tell us where you're watching from. Let me make sure everything is working. Pete, what have you been up to? Tell us all about it.
What's that?
What have you been up to?
Tell me. Oh, we have been so busy.
Good.
We are working towards some TV shows at the moment, so we're promoting all of Chapter 4, Chapter 3. We've got some big trade shows coming up in the new year. We're already thinking about that. We just come back from a big photo shoot. Well, I say we. I'm using the royal we. This is Sizzix. It's not just me. It's just a really, really busy time. I'm already thinking about workshops with the new Tim Holtz for the new year as well. So, we're on the go. We're constantly on the go.
Busy.
Always busy. But a good kind of busy. The kind of busy that we like. The creative kind of busy, We have got people in suits that sort the business side of things out. I don't get involved in that. This is the fun. This is the funky stuff. That's what we love. So we're always looking for new ways to spread the love and share the love, with the makers out there.
Absolutely. Let's say hello to people watching. Everybody's so excited for you, Pete. We have Bex Crafts, Julie Olivia's Crafts. We have Victoria Bunn. Hello, Victoria. Laura. Julie says, I'm so excited for today's demo as I love using Sizzix products in my Sizzix die machine. Ooh, tell us what die machine you guys use. Beanish Gill. Beanish, maybe it's Beanish Jill. That's a funny screen name, sorry. Hello, Sue Lloyd. How are you? Debbie Siddle. Hello. And Mrs. Stationery and Stuff says, I'm so glad Pete is back on.
Thank you.
Oh, Pooja says, hello, everyone. Hi, Jeanette and Pete. I have been waiting for this show since Pete's last show.
You're kidding. Thank you for tuning in.
We all
appreciate
love
it.
Pete so much. And of course we love Sizzix as well. You've got some great die designs, some beautiful die designs to show. Let me say hello to some people on Facebook. We have Becky Holiday watching, Tara Green, Diane, Debbie Siddle, Irene Shan, Linda Sophie is watching from Norway, Jennifer McMullins, hello. Shirley Clark, Pauline Edwards, Linda, Sophie, Lily Newsome loves her Sizzix fold away, and Kate Fletcher loves her Big Shot.
Cool. Well, we're using the Big Shot today.
Yes.
We did have the option, didn't we? We said, shall we use the Plus?
Yes.
Shall we use the Express? Shall we use the fold away?
There's so many.
I know. I'm going to go with the Big Shot. I mean, it's the one.
It's classic.
It's a classic. And do you know what? 2 million Big Shots out there.
Are you serious?
I am absolutely serious. I know, I was like the same.
Well,
when Kevin in the US told me, I said, how many Big Shots do we have out there? He said, 2 million plus. 2 million and counting, folks.
I have 2 of those.
You have 2?
So because I have one back in California and then one here.
Over here?
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So there's 2 accounted for.
Yeah.
I find that people always have more than one die cutting machine.
I know, it's frightening, isn't it? I used to make fun of that. People would say to me, well, I've got this, I've got that, I've got the other, I've got... But you know what? I've got 3 Fender guitars that are just different colours.
Yeah.
They're the same guitar, but different colours. But you can never have too many guitars, and I think the same goes for crafting equipment, dies, stamps, and die cutting machines, definitely. But hey, I'm preaching to the converted here, because you guys know that already, right?
Louise Nowhere says, hi all, in bed with tonsillitis. Oh no! Boy. Hope you feel better soon. Yay. All right, so everybody is saying hello. Keep the love coming. Keep commenting away if you want to tag and share with your friends so that they can tune in on the fun. But also wanted to talk about the 3 prize bundles that we have to give away. Those are valued at over 140 pounds. So wow. Amazing. And again, handpicked by Pete himself. And we will show you those in just a bit, what those prizes are going to be, and then how to enter the giveaway. So let's move on to showing some of the beautiful dies. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cards that you've.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
So nice.
Now this one features the two snowflakes, the 2 faceted snowflakes. That's a Tim Holtz die. It's quite classic, very, very intricate. Underneath you'll see the word Merry Christmas. Now that's a die cut. You get 2 Merry Christmases, exactly the same, different sizes, but it's got that kind of. I always think of it as like the Bewitched style. You know, that 1950s Americana, that vintagey Christmas kind of classic style. So combining the two, obviously a few distress inks in the back there. Lovely, lovely set. Really nice.
Gorgeous. Beautiful. And then we have this one from...
Pine Branch.
Is that the Tim Holtz?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I know Tim personally. He's very excited about this set because of the level of intricacy in those pine branches. He's wanted a die like this for a long, long time, and we've come up with one. So it's a lot of fun to play around with. You can just use the pine branches by itself, or you can use it with the cones. You can use it independently. But very versatile, very classic, of course. But yeah, I can see a lot of scope for that pine. You know, one of the things about my job, the frustration is not having enough playtime. I could play with that die forever, but sadly, I don't have the time.
It's so delicate.
Very delicate, yeah, very delicate, but classic.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And then you're going to be doing a demonstration with this in just
We will be doing a demonstration a bit later on. Yes, we will indeed.
And also, this die set is part of one of the prize bundles.
Yes.
So one lucky person is going to have that to play with. So cool.
Okay. Now, these 3 trees, they actually come from a bigger set called Alpine. I think it's probably been our best-selling of Chapter 4, judging by the pre-orders. So, but we're going to be using this. This is going to be our first set that we're going to use, but we're going to use the mountain as well with the trees. Is
it this one here?
I always say this. Yep, that's the fella. Shall I get that out for you?
Oh, thank you.
It's there you go.
Thanks.
There you go. That's it. So all those pieces, all those parts of the mountain, they die cut separately. So you can ink them up, or you can cut them from different shades of greys or whites or blues, whatever you choose, and you can create that look. It's a very contemporary look, very classic look. I love those funky trees. I love those different shapes as well. So we're going to be doing something fun with that in a little while.
Great. I am looking forward to that. I love your demonstrations, Pete. They're so inspiring. Every single time I learn something new.
Yay.
All right, so also this die set, the Alpine die set, is also part of one of the other prize bundles.
It sure is.
I forgot where I pulled that from. This one, we'll figure it out. How to do that. Sorry.
Oh.
Ooh, and then this one is the Patchwork bird.
Yeah, this is the Patchwork bird. It's a big die. So big dies, of course, means you can cut so many different materials. So this one looks particularly effective. I know Tim's on the packaging.
It's also Tim Holtz.
He's cut it from different sort of tweeds and very textured fabrics. So if you're into applique, or if you want to attach this to a garment, you can even make a nice chunky brooch with that one, I would imagine. Ooh. So, they're very popular, those kind of tweedy type brooches. But we've done it with paper here. So that's a British garden bird, obviously. But you do have a separate breast section, so it could be a robin as well. Oh, do you want me to grab? I've got a sample with the robin and the pine branches, Jeanette, if you'd like to bring that one in. So that's the same die, same bird, different colours. So that's the beauty of die cutting. It's about making it your style. It's about personalising to your particular taste. Now, we are going to do a demo with this, and The bird that I'm going to do in the demo is going to be completely different from
Yeah.
either of those two.
It's
but
so
we're bringing in
versatile.
some fun. Yeah, I know. It's such a cool set. You get the tail feathers, you get the wing, you get a separate sort of head section. If you choose to use it, you also get the different breast where I've done the red breast there. It's just
cool.
a really nice, cute, but it's got that kind of faceted. Angular look about it, which is very contemporary now. It's very popular in a lot of design. So yeah, we're going to have fun with that.
And then this one, just wanted to mention that it is a big die, steel
It is
wool
a big
die,
die.
so
Yeah.
you can cut leather, felt, thicker materials.
Yep. Balsa wood, grey board, chipboard, mat board, any textiles and multiples thereof. So if you're cutting in batches, if you're doing a lot of cards, big dies are the ways to go because you can really cut through a lot of card
Save time.
in
Do
one
your
go.
like batch
Absolutely.
Christmas card, batch making Christmas cards. This one is so pretty. I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
I have this one here.
No, this one isn't. I brought these along because I just wanted. This is part of Tim's whole the colorized collection. So
From last time, you mentioned them, I think.
yeah, we had the this one's called Deck the Halls, and that's half of this die. The second half. This one's done slightly differently here. This is done. So these dies, they're all in the same set, and that is so that's using the pine cones with the bows and the foliage and those lovely garland strips as well. So you can see two very different ways of using those. You can use them in traditional colors. You can use them monochromatically. The gray one I've actually used with gilding waxes to give that kind of like nice sumptuous sheen to that. So it's all good fun.
They're so beautiful. I love the different, just the different effects that you can get from one single die, depending on what papers that you use or what colors you use.
To me, that's die cutting. That's the thing. It's no matter what the shape is, you can always personalize it. Every designer can take a single die, and by designer I mean you guys out there as well. We all take the same die, and it comes out differently every single time. And it's about that versatility, but it's inspiring your creativity as well.
Yes.
You know, it's like having a blank canvas, and that's where we're going right now.
And you're going to inspire us, Pete, because you always do, every single time.
I shall try. No pressure.
So I wanted to announce the giveaway prizes, and let me make sure I have the right ones, because I don't want to say the wrong prizes, do I? Nope. So we've got the first prize is the Folk Christmas tree, which is...
You've got them all mixed up, haven't you?
I mixed them up, Pete. I knew this would happen.
I know.
There's one inside.
There you go.
So the first one is the Folk Christmas tree. Sorry, let me get these out of the way.
And I also apologise as well because I brought samples. I put the samples for these to show people what you can make with them in a box. And it's still in a box. And the box is in North Wales, unfortunately. But there we have it.
So this one is the Folk Christmas tree by Lisa Jones. And also included in the prize bundle is going to be the poinsettia.
Love that
Which
one.
is stunning.
Love.
And the snowflake favor box.
Now, this favour box, it's absolutely great. I mean, obviously, you can cut the snowflakes into the box. If you leave the snowflake out, you've just got a gorgeous favour box by itself. So it can work any part of the year. But the die that you actually use to cut the apertures into the box, they also look great cut into the front of your cards as well. So it's a very, very versatile set.
Okay, and then the next prize is the Christmas patchwork bird, I believe. Nope, no, it's not. Just kidding.
Isn't it?
No, it's the sorry, guys. The shadow box.
There you go.
The shadow box, the Christmas ribbon, which is
That's Christmas
this
ribbon.
one. Christmas ribbon. So it's got some beautiful sentiment dies. And the Alpine.
Oh, there we are.
And the Alpine, which we showed earlier. So there is the second prize bundle. Sorry for the confusion. And then the last prize bundle. I'm gonna keep
There
them
you
separate.
go. There you go.
The last prize bundle is the pine branch with beautiful pine cone. The colorized Mr. Snowman from Tim Holtz. Sorry, there's a reflection there. And the patchwork bird, which we talked about earlier. Beautiful.
I just want
you wanted to show
there
this
you go.
one.
Yeah, that's the colorized snowman.
That's
the
Snowman.
It's a wonderful set. There's lots of different little elements to it. It's so much fun to put together. But it's great. You can do it. You can use different blues to get the effect if you want. Maybe bring in some lilacs as there for the shadow in the snow. It's entirely up to you. Again, you can do this in whatever color you like. But great fun to put together. Lovely sort of animated feel to this die. Really jolly. And almost kind of like a retro kind of feel to it as well. So it's just a fun day. It
reminds me of like those claymation Christmas movies from like the 1950s.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're so cute, so charming.
I like the 1950s. I wasn't there, but I wasn't there. Almost.
Right. So we have those 3 prize bundles up for grabs, and to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is just leave a comment. So whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, just leave a comment, and at the end of the show, we will announce our 3 winners. Now let's
get down to it, folks. Okay, we are looking at our Alpine die set. Now, before I do, these are the dies. So these are some of the dies in the set, and they all have the different facets and different elements to create the mountain. Also, we've got a couple of the trees there. But to get the colours, to get those background colours, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take 2 pieces of card. So it's like I said before, it's almost like a blank palette. And
sorry, Pete, I'm going to move you just a little bit this way.
No problem. You just move me wherever you want me. Not a problem. Now, I'm going to start with, this is quite an old technique, but I've kind of really loved this technique and changed it around slightly. So we're taking distressing, and I'm actually swiping that onto my craft mat before spritzing. Now, I'm using clean water, and I put quite a bit of water in some places and not a lot in others. And there is a reason for that, which will become apparent. And look at that, you get this lovely kind of variegation with that. And you can pick up different areas. Some areas it's flooded, some areas it's not. So it's picking up texture. And that's what I want more than anything else. I want to build up the layers. And I hope you can hear me. I'm actually leaning up to the microphone so you can hear me over the top of my heat tool here. Oh yeah, let's bring it in.
Don't burn yourself though.
I won't burn myself. Mind you, the week that I've had, it's just the sort of thing I would do actually doing myself.
Had a rough week.
I've had a rough week. Well, cuts and bruises and so on and so forth. So again, I've taken the same people. Now we've dried it, and then I'm going back in, and again, it's picking up more texture, and it's building up, and it's starting to flood this background. Then we'll take another piece, and we'll do likewise. So this is for the darker parts of the snow.
Pete, we have a question. Is that all right?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so Pooja is wondering if you prefer distress inks or distress oxides.
Oh, that is the question, isn't it? We're going to be using both in this demo. It depends what kind of effect I'm looking for. Distress oxides, of course, they are opaque. So you can use them for stamping. You can blend them like distress inks as well. They are water reactive, but the colors tend to be more intense. There is an intensity to the color which I dearly love. So I go through phases. Sometimes I will use oxides all the time. Sometimes I will use distressing. Sometimes I will even combine the two. So it depends what I'm going for. I don't think I have a preference. And I will admit, when I first saw oxides, I thought, what's that all about? I didn't really get it until I started using it. And I think, if you're looking at oxides and you're thinking, is this really for me? Or, I'm not going to give up my distress inks. Then give them a go. Give them a go, because I promise you will be pleasantly surprised.
You'll become a believer.
Oh, indeed. There we are. So we've got 2 colors going on there. We've got, this is pumice stone. So we started off with broken china. And now we come in with pumice stone, and I'm trying to build up, and we want it to get it looking like the side of a mountain, really, where possible. So I hope people can hear me over the top of this, and this is quite a relatively quiet heat tool as well, so there we are. So that's my pumice stone. We'll come in, take a bit more. Now this is where all those little dots, all those little blobs, when I do this, boom, there, look at that, wow. That's really punching out at me now. I love that effect.
Now, the die that Pete is using is the Alpine die from Tim Holtz, and it's part of the Chapter 4, Sizzix Chapter 4 collection. And
Oh, sorry.
You're doing it on purpose.
No, I'm not. I'm going to switch it off.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
There you go.
So, no, I just wanted to let everybody know that they can save 10% on Chapter 4 at CraftStash when you spend over £20. So save 10% if you buy any of these beautiful Chapter 4 dies when you spend over £20. So super exciting. Just wanted to get that. You can turn on the tool.
I can carry on my tool, okay.
You can drown me out again if you want.
You CraftStash guys are really generous, aren't you?
We are.
Hey.
We are. We try to be.
I hope my wife's at home. She can buy some stuff for me. Do you imagine that for Christmas, getting a big shot me? I would love it. Oh, do you know what I would love? Do you know what I would love? Seriously. I think when we do the 20th anniversary of the big shot, I'm going to take one apart and I'm going to get it gilded, like gold. I'm going to get a gold, not real gold, obviously. I don't know my budget. But wouldn't it be great to get it sort of, because they do it like a gilding thing where they put it into, I don't understand how it's done. But I want a golden big shot.
That'd be cool.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah. They should do something like when you buy your 200th Sizzix die, then you get the gold big shot.
Boy.
That'd be amazing.
Do you know what? Joking aside, I think that might be, because I think the big shot is around 15 years old now. When it hits 20, I think we should have some limited edition gold machines.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Just shiny gold machines.
Or glittery, like all like pink glitter. We have a question from Laura. She is wondering if your wife also crafts.
No, do you know what? She doesn't, but she does have an enviable collection of birthday, Christmas and Valentine's cards. She does love seeing what I come up with every Christmas, trying to better myself and come up with a new way of saying I love you. So she doesn't actually craft, but she does have a creative side, but it doesn't stretch to crafting. Although my daughter does. She loves anything crafty, anything creative. She's very much a free spirit in that sense. So that's my mountain. That's it. It's ready to go almost.
Nice.
And we've got some purple in there as well, using Dusty Concord. Now the other one I want to make slightly darker, so I'm bringing in chipped sapphire and black soot.
Ooh, I like how you mix those together.
Oh yeah. Now this is really going to get the party started. So, look at that. Lovely. Get those colours in there. So we're nearly ready to cut as well.
Another question for you.
Sure.
From Jules Gordon. Wait till you're done. Jules Gordon wants to know that, she's never worked with distress inks. Are they worth investing in?
Very much so. For many reasons. You can use them very subtly. It doesn't have to be all about the grungy kind of thing. I think one of the unfortunate things about distress inks is the name distress. Because sometimes people can get a picture in their head of all the grungy, messy things that you do with them, but there are some very, very beautiful colours in the range as well. And like if we look at the bird that we did earlier, so if I reach over and bring this in actually, and you see the colours of that bird, that lovely sort of kingfisher blue and that green, there's some gorgeous things you can do with those inks, whether you're using a technique like this or you're spreading them with the distress ink, blenders, ink blenders. So yes, definitely start off with a nice little colour palette. Get a couple of browns in there as well for doing the edges on die cuts or stamps or what have you. And we'll show that in a little while actually how they come into play. So I would definitely invest in some, even if you're just doing like nice watercolor backgrounds. Sometimes I will use them as watercolors. So I'll take a china plate and I will wipe the ink onto the plate and spritz it, and I will use the pigment from that as watercolor rather than using watercolors themselves. So yes is the short answer.
Definitely worth the investment.
I was giving the long version there, but yeah, definitely.
Now we're giving away 3 prize bundles. If you're just tuning in, 3 Sizzix Chapter 4 die bundles for free lucky people. We're so excited for you. All you have to do is leave a comment. You can comment as many times as you want on both YouTube or Facebook. We will announce our 3 winners at the end of the broadcast, and these prizes have been handpicked by Pete himself. So we're really happy about that. And I wanted to read this comment because Becky Holiday, she says, well, I'd better get commenting, meaning to enter the giveaway before she gets so engrossed in the demo that she's going to forget.
Oh,
because
okay.
we are mesmerized by Pete's demos. You're so excited.
That's very kind. Very kind. Now I'm cutting the parts of the snow cap now, so we've got the main part and the shadow. These are two that I did earlier using some of the lighter blue shades, so there are no greys in amongst these. I've actually put some lilac in these as well. It's nice if you're going for a colour blend, you know, just don't particularly with blues and greens, you can throw in yellows, you can throw in lilacs and so on and so forth. It really makes it quite interesting rather than just sticking with one single color. So there we are, there's some more, and finally I'm going to die cut my trees, and here are three. See what I meant about the colors, the range of colors. Those are just some of the greens. Those are some of the greens blended there. We've got some crushed olive there, we've got some mowed lawn, and they do have wonderfully evocative names as well, don't they? And this one is primarily oh, the name escapes me, but it will come to me. It will come to me. So we'll lay those. We'll look for some particular areas of interest with the dyes. Oh, and no. I was coming out of shot there. It was very unprofessional of me, and I apologise most profusely.
We just don't want anybody to miss out on what you're doing.
No, that's true. I'm sort of because I'm working in the centre. I'm kind of dragging this way, and so there we are. That's the middle of the shot. So we'll take these now. Those are some of the trees die cut, and we'll die cut a couple more as well.
You can use this too, though, Pete. I can totally see you using that negative.
Yeah, and now, yeah, exactly. The negative is just as good as the positive. There is no waste. We despise waste as makers. Goodness me, it's not something that's in our vocabulary. Did you need this? Because I'm
over here moving it, like just putting it over here.
Here you go. Oh yeah, definitely the positives and the negatives, and that's another thing about die cutting. Very often, if you've got a nice basic bowl shape, it can be about both the negative and the positive, and you can use the negative and the positive as masks or stencils as you wish as well. So you can ink through that gap there to create a completely different pattern. So you're creating a stencil as well. So never throw these away. So there you go. Do you like everything in line? Is it a thing or
no? It just makes me happy.
But it is nice. It is nice. I know.
It also makes me happy that you throw the dies to get it out instead of using a die pick.
A die pick, yes, of course. Apologies for that, folks.
No, I do that too.
Die picks,
I throw it here.
I was hoping it would just pop out. Yeah, just tap it on there sometime. But die picks, joking aside, you know, if you've got like the pine branch, for example, that's lots of little facets in there. Using a die brush or a die pick is an absolute must, because it saves you so much time in the long run. Now, we've got our lovely mountain here. Let's start putting it together. Now, one of the things about that die is it does emboss into, so the large die, there are embossing lines, which I can see quite clearly. You probably can't pick it up there, but there are lines, so I know exactly where to place my die cut pieces. Let's take some PVA, or using whatever you prefer, and we'll place that one down thus. So it's starting to look good already, and that's just the one in place. Now, of course, when we did the snow caps, we did a lighter one and a darker one. So when we put those in place, hopefully that is going to bear fruit. The great thing, the exciting thing about this is you're kind of into the unknown. You have a general idea how this is going to work out, but there's no guarantees. It's a lot of fun, and it's different every time, and that's one of the exciting things about crafts, I think, getting that variety in there. So we'll put that little facet that's part of the mountain. That's going to sit there. Oh, this is the nice. This goes on the side like that. This is why I use some of the darker blues with this to get the sense of dimension, to get that shadow coming in. Oh, that's lovely. That's beautiful. And then the one that we just did when we were doing the mountain before, you notice I did two shades. There was a smaller one and a lighter one and a darker one. So that's given us our shadow. And then we've got our trees. Now the trees are obviously going to go over the top. And I'm going to take distressing. Now we were talking about distressings earlier. Sometimes it's just great for putting an edge on your die cuts like this. And it helps add contrast. So when you're putting a lot of things with either heavy pattern or tones which are very similar, when you ink like that and you place it against the other die, it helps that stand out. And that's one of the areas where I do love my distressings. So we'll ink up this one. Now, I'm not going to put this all onto the card, but I'm going to show you the next stage. So that would be, I'd get all my trees, everything is there together and ready. And let's, do you know what?
What? Did you forget something?
No, it's absolutely fine. We're fine. It's just because I've got the silicone mat underneath to protect from the heat tool. When you get a die cut shape on it, you can't pick it up. So I should have reached for my tweezers, shouldn't I? Now, here is a lovely base card bearing the legend. It came upon a midnight clear. Before anybody asked where I got the stamp from, I didn't. I actually did that. I printed that out before I came because it just happens to fit.
I was going to say, did you write that? Like, is that your
No,
handlettering?
not quite
so
that clever.
Even and beautiful.
Now, distress oxides. We're talking about distress oxides. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to use them to stamp. But this is quite funky. So this is quite cool. I'm going to actually drag them across the stamp like that. And this is like a swoosh, kind of like, almost like you take paint and swipe it across like that. So I'm going to drag that across. That is chipped sapphire. Then I'm going to use black soot and I'm going to come across, just pick out the detail at the top with the black soot, so not too much. And finally, shaded lilac. This is a much lighter one, and I'm just going to put little bits in there like that. Now, at this moment in time, it doesn't look like much really, but hopefully it's going to bear fruit because I'm going to spritz this with water, and I just want to pick out certain areas like that before stamping. Now, hopefully, Gina, this is the moment of truth. Is this going to look cool or is it going to look terrible? What do you think?
Whatever you do looks cool. So
is the right answer. Bless you. You're so kind. Now we'll stamp that down there, and then we take it away. Now see how where the water drips in like that. So you're getting all those oxides, and the way oxides react is so different to the way that distress inks act on the paper, and the way that they blend together. But this is, I'm going to dry this off. But it's still water reactive. I can still spritz into this and get different cool effects. So I kind of come in just ever so lightly there and lift off some of that pigment. Now that's kind of like, that's a kind of a night sky. There's the purple in there with the lilac cool. And it is kind of cool, isn't it?
Can I show that? Sorry, can I grab that from you and show that on the close-up, please? Thank you, Shona. So there's that different. It does look like a night sky.
It's kind of a cool effect, isn't it? But it's a random effect, and it's different every time. That's as different as anything I've done with using this die, using this stamp rather. So that's the oxide. That's what's cool about the oxide. Now, here's a circle. Now, what I did with the circle, I applied some distressing to this. We did a moon last time I was on. I think we did a little moon. So I've applied some pumice stone and some broken china to that and spritzed it to get that kind of funky effect. And then my mountains would go on the top like that, but we're not going to do that. We're going to say, here's one that I made earlier, and you can see how all these lovely facets in the mountains, we were getting that sense of dimension because of the different shades and tones. We've got so lovely trees, we've got a moon, we've got a stamp. Do you want to show that to the folks?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
They're going to love it. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Pete.
But it was fun, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And I love how, I mean, these are just cut from white card, right? But then when you add your mediums on top, like your distressings, your oxides, or even if you did like texture paste, you can completely transform these into, you know, something
totally
amazing. Something
there's a million and one ways of using that die. There really is. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
So there you go.
Lots of lovely comments. Thank you so much for your comments. Samantha Butler says, really clever way that you are making those backgrounds. Christine Watt says that she loves distressings for backgrounds. Lovely blending. Everybody's learning so much. And we have some first-time viewers as well. If you're a first-time viewer, let us know. say hello. And then we have Sarah Louise Rowland says that she loves the fact that you do a live demo and you can see how everything works. Yes, there's something fun about a live demo.
Yeah, there's an extra sort of, there's more energy in the room when it's live, when you know that you can't mess.
No, but then you mess up. And then
I mess up all the time, but...
I mean, I'm not saying you mess up, but
I do mess
in general.
up.
I'm using the royal you. No, the royal we. When we mess up, it's, they can see how you fix it.
I cover it up well.
Or and it gives them ideas as well.
But I mess up.
I don't believe it for a second.
You know, some of my best ideas come from messing up, and I think everybody out there would agree with that. Sometimes we're trying to do something else, and I think, well, hang on, you know what, this is quite good. So, yeah.
So before we move on to the next demonstration, I just want to let everyone know how to enter the giveaway. So we have 3 prize bundles up for grabs, handpicked by Pete himself. And all you have to do is leave a comment. Is your tea good? Is it cold now?
It's a lovely cup of tea.
Oh, good.
Really good. Yeah.
Sorry. So the just leave a comment to be entered to win, and we will announce the 3 winners at the end of the broadcast. And also, don't forget about the amazing offer. You can save 10% off of Chapter 4 Sizzix dies at CraftStash when you spend over £20, which I think is. I mean, you might spend more.
Yeah, if you think
I would spend more.
Yeah. Well,
we've got some great dye designs.
There's some real showstoppers from Tim this time. You want to see? Oh, you want to see the New Year's stuff? Well, anyway, no.
Don't tease us.
I know.
You're teasing us.
There's some really good stuff coming up. Really cool. Anyway, but there's some really cool stuff out now. So yeah. So. This is the one. This is Patchwork Bird.
Patchwork Bird.
Patchwork Bird. I'm hitting the high spots because I'm doing some of my favorites today. So, Patchwork Bird is definitely my favorite bigs from this collection. There's lots of different facets in the die, and we're going to be bringing some 3D embossing folders into this as well. So this isn't great visuals at home because we've got a black die and some black card. I'm going to put the black card on the black die. I know you got to trust me at this point because
we trust you, Pete. We trust you.
You trust me. Oh, that's good to hear. Now, I've sandwiched my die and my card between the 2 cutting blades exactly as I would if I were cutting a wafer thin die. The difference now is I will be taking my platform out and placing this into the machine without, remember it's a big die, so there is a steel blade in here, steel rule blade, very, very sharp, which means you can cut through so much more than just paper and card. So if you're a quilter, if you're into applique or your soft crafts, you want to put this onto a cushion, onto a table runner, whatever it is. Or if you're into mixed media and you want to cut this out of grey board or chipboard or mount board, then this is absolutely ideal. Big dies are the way to go, no doubt about that. So these are all the different facets. We've got some separate tail feathers there. That is the breast of the bird if you were doing like a robin, for example, which is very festive, of course. Now, those are my bits. Now, what I want to do with these to add, we're going to get really industrial, and we're going to get quite mixed media and use some different techniques and some different mediums here. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to emboss one of these with a 3D embossing folder. Now this one, when you get one of these embossing folders, it won't be red. I think this was a pre-production prototype I couldn't find. This is what they look like, and this is what mine looks like. But it picks up better on camera, so I brought this one along. Now, before you emboss anything, this is a really good tip, whether you're using the 2D or the 3D. Always spritz your card with water. The reason is that card has fibers, like wood has fibers, and card will split when it comes under pressure along those fibers. We want to avoid that where possible, so spritzing is the way forward. That is the answer. So I'm going to place that into my folder. Now, this is a 3D embossing folder, so I only need a single cutting plate with this particular folder, and I'm going to place that onto the base of my platform. So I take out this part of the platform, I use the base part of the platform, I will slide this into the machine like so, and this will give me the deepest, most impressive, most wonderful emboss. Now I'm going to move this around so hopefully we can pick this up on the camera. Beautiful. So can we see that? You know what? I'm going to start using some. You know, you're probably better off on the close-up camera. I don't know if we can.
It's hard to see black cardstock, honestly.
It is, I'm afraid. Yeah, we didn't. We did. I'm saying we. I didn't think this one through. No, but it will come to life because we're going to use some funky techniques to bring that 3D emboss to the fore. Now, I've embossed all these pieces before we came on air. Here they are, and sorry, Pete, what I want to do, let's move that up. Right? I'm slipping down again, and I do apologize. I want to get this one. Now, the middle of the bird, I want to look like a sort of a patina, you know, like a copper patina. Now, the other pieces, I want them to look kind of rusty and industrial. So, let's take a look at those first. I'm only going to do one, and then we're going to do that. Here's one I made earlier.
Okay.
So, let's take some paints. Now, this is Aqua Sky and Avocado Dip. These are Americana acrylics. There are all manner of acrylics out there. I'm sure whatever you have will be absolutely fine for this. So I'm putting a little blob of each on my craft mat, and I'm going to spritz again with water. Now, I'm going to apply these to the central bird. You want to get it to sort of a milky consistency, and this is the reason why. So you don't want to lay it on too thick. I'm going to bring this down. Can you see how I'm dragging it across? But I want to actually fill this in slightly. And to do that, I'm going to be working quite wet. So let's bring that down there and let's drag that now. So I'm going to drag it with my kitchen paper. So whatever you've got to hand, whether it's a baby wipe, whether it's kitchen paper, whether it's a tissue, just go for it. Just have a go. The good thing about mixed media techniques is, hey, if it doesn't work out, just paint it black and start again. That's always my way of approaching this. So I'm going to drag some of that avocado dip and see how we got those lovely colours.
Love that,
kind of mimicking or aping that sort of patina thing going on. So I'll keep those inks, those paints rather, at the top there, and we'll leave that one. We'll put that one to one side to dry. Now the body of the bird, I'm going to use two Deco Art Media acrylic colours, and I'm going to use yellow ochre and I'm going to use English red oxide. This is going to give me hopefully my rusty effect. Oh, there it is. See, we're all over the place. You say I don't make mistakes. Look, it's absolute chaos.
No, it looks like art. I love it.
It's kind of controlled chaos, which is you know, which is a bit, and that's something I've talked about time and time again with mixed media techniques and stuff like this. Just go at it. Don't be afraid. Don't be too tentative. Don't sort of be delicate and try to get complete coverage. The more that you do of this kind of thing, the more experience you get, the more you can just be more freeform with it. And I'm gonna grab this. You can grab it for just a second and show that. Now there's a long way to go on that one as well. So
you can see now that beautiful embossed texture, and then it does look so cool with the blue and the greens.
But it's going to look even cooler soon. We're not quite there. We're not quite there. So this is my yellow ochre color. So we put in the English red oxide and now some yellow ochre. So this is starting to kind of look like rust.
Rusty, very rusty.
But this is where the fun really starts. Now, this one. We've got that lovely patina, but there's another color. This is called quinacridone gold. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it's a kind of it's a semi-transparent color, and it's great for adding the effect of rust. Now I'm going to take some of this onto my brush, kind of drag it down there, like that. Can you see how that?
Yes.
We are. Can we see that sort of coming down there like that? And that's going to look like it's been left out kind of in the rain, or it's really weathered. But I'm going to just take that off there. And we're going to put that to one side to dry. Or should we get our heat tool? You're not about to talk at length, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I've learned my lesson.
I'm going to put this on the lowest setting, so I can do this in my hand. It's getting a bit warm now. Yeah. Now, we'll leave that there. And it's still not finished. There's still a long way to go on that. Not too long, you'll be pleased to hear. But now, This one. Now, I'm getting some gilding wax. I'm using 2 colors. I'm using graphite and silver here. So I'm coming in with the graphite first. And what I like to do with gilding wax, let's get those into shot. I realize that I'm slipping out of shot. So I like to put it onto the paper first before applying it. And this is what really picks out that lovely detail. And once I've done this one, Jeanette, you can actually show this to the camera before we move on to the next, because I think when we're talking about, you know, picking out that lovely 3D embossed detail, this is where it truly kind of comes to life. So you got the rust colors going on underneath.
Beautiful. That looks so realistic.
Doesn't it though?
It does.
And I can't claim any particularly high skill level to allow me to do such a thing. It's just having the right tools for the job, i.e. 3D embossing folders, the right dyes, and the right acrylics.
Gilding, some gilding polish for that.
Oh yeah, anything with gilding polish, it raises it to the next level. So that's what we do now with the bird, with the one that has the kind of the copper patina on it. I'm going to come in this time with bronze and gold. So the bronze, obviously, if you had copper, even better. But this is where all those lovely little facets are going to start to come through underneath, and that detail is really going to start to sing.
We have a question, Pete, if that's
Sure.
all right, from Debbie Siddle. She's wondering how
Please do.
thick the black card is that you're using.
How thick? It's about 300 GSM.
Okay.
About 300 GSM. I tend to go with that as standard, to be honest.
Because
with you.
is it because you're using like the mediums, additional mediums on top?
Yeah, I mean, you can emboss. You can emboss if you have the right kind of platform. You can emboss onto grey board, you know, or mount board as well, using 3D folders. But you do have to have the right kind of one of the older platforms to allow you to do that, which has another level. But there we are. That's pretty much all ready to be assembled.
That is so cool.
It
looks so different now, and it was
Doesn't
just
it though?
So this is what it was before, just a black little die cut there, and then now with the paint and the gilding polish, look what you can do. That's amazing. It looks like metal, but it's just paper.
Oh, before I do, remember the wing that we did. We got the wing here. Remember, I kept some of that blue. I said we'll keep some of that. Now, look what's going to happen. I'm going to swipe that down there. Now, look at the difference, and a bit of green as well. See the difference now. If you can hold that one up to the cam, and we'll see the difference that makes. It's quite something.
Just a little color, just a little bit.
Very industrial.
That's so cool.
It is.
Thank you.
Now this is the background. I've used some stamps. I've used some distress inks. What I've done is I've actually picked up the distress inks with a palette knife and flicked them on there. So I've spritzed them, flicked them on there. So that's got a bit of background texture going on. And do you know what? I started with this down here, and Jeanette, she grabs my elbow and she leads me into the shot, which I'm very thankful for, because I'm not using my monitors.
I'm gentle about it. I'm not like, get your elbow.
It's very
there,
unprofessional of me.
I'm very gentle.
She is very gentle, and it's nice to have it. There you go. There's my hand moving. It's nice to have a nudge in the right direction, because I know for directors and producers and presenters, it's desperately frustrating when you have a guest like me. Now, look at this one. This is the Crackle 3D embossing folder. That is gorgeous, and that is one that I did before we came on. So I'm going to apply some distress ink to there, and I'm just going to slip that in underneath. There's a brad in here. There's a 3D, there's a screw head brad. So I'm going to pop that in there. Now this, we on the last show, we had this. This is called Star Trim. Do you remember that? I think you particularly liked this one, didn't you?
I love that one.
It's got 2 star trims, a thin one and a thick one. And so it cuts and embosses at the same time. Now I'm going to apply this one. So this is one also that I did earlier. We're going to slip this one underneath somewhere like this. Now, at this point, I want you to use your imagination. Imagine that we've assembled that lovely bird, put it all together, and then, as if by magic, that's what you have. There's a finished sample. So, but what I think it does show the contrast from the earlier birds that we showed, with the lovely colourful garden bird and the robin redbreast. To that, I mean,
so I just wanted to show, because that's just black cardstock. And he transformed it to this magical creation.
There you go.
That's
So if you just
beautiful.
want a raven or a crow, just cut the black cardstock. I mean, you're ready to go. If you want to do Halloween, that's the
That's
way.
it.
That's the way, folks.
Amazing. Thank you.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was. And we
Yeah.
have one more demonstration for
We
you.
do,
You're
we
going to
do,
have to
we
be
do, we do.
very speedy about it.
Ah, that's my middle
Can
name.
you do it in like 5 minutes?
You don't scare me.
He's got it.
Okay, 5
Oh, we
minutes.
should get a timer.
Let's do it. Yeah.
5 minutes, Pete.
Let's do the fact. But you know what? Funnily enough, I thought that those demonstrations might run a little longer, so I kind of pre-cut some stuff for this one.
Thank you.
So I think we might just break that 5-minute barrier. We shall see. Now this is going to be really simple. It's
They
going to
say
be
you can do it. Everybody's like, you can do
really-
this. Janine Lucas, Pete can do it. Yep, he can.
bless you. Now, what I have got here, remember the pine branch? We're looking at that set. These are the lovely dies. I was going to cut them, but we're running out of time. So I've had some, we're pre-cut. You see, folks, we think of everything for you. We really do. But you can see how delicate these shapes are. And to get a bit more interest in those shapes, that's craft card, incidentally. So that's 300 gram craft card. I'm going to use some gesso. And now, this is a technique that I showed to my good friend and fellow designer Josh, who's here with us today. Hello, Josh. I know you can't see him, but he is here. And you kind of warmed to this, haven't you, Josh? Yeah, he really likes it.
I love it.
He loves it. He loves it, he says. This is a good fun technique. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm taking my brayer. You can see this is well up. Now, when you want to flood a brayer with a color, is lift it off the surface like that. Don't just roll it back in two. So we're lifting it, and now, see how we don't, so it's very important how much gesso you put onto your mat to start with. Too much, you just flood these with white. I want the brown showing through. I want that coming through.
So it look like snow then.
It kind of does,
like a little
doesn't
powder
it?
of snow.
I always think of it as quite a Nordic kind of look. You know, those natural sort of colors. Now, this is my background. So we're using neutral cardstock. This is the Sizzix new Neutrals pack. There are 10 colors in the set. Lovely, lovely set. Lovely color palette. Now I'm going to take some more gesso with my palette knife and my spritzer. So I'm going to water that down. So I want to get now a creamy sort of consistency going on with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the edge of that and we're going to splatter. We're going to, we don't care where it's going or how it's going. We're just going to have a bit of fun. So there we are. We're splattering that on. Now, if I water that down again, just a bit more, it's going to have a different splatter pattern because it's a lot runnier. So I can get more little dots going on there. There. Now, let's clean that up. Do you know what? I come home from work sometimes and my wife says, what have you been? And I forget, and I go into the supermarket and I'm paying for things with my hands covered in ink and gilding wax and acrylics, and I can't
artist.
imagine what they think I must do for a living. I really can't. So that is there, ready to go. So we'll just dry that off. And we'll speak up over the top of it while we're doing that. And I know it's hard to believe. This is a very quiet heat tool. It's a dual speed, so if I go down, we go to a more sedate kind. But this is perfect if you're drying off watercolors and you don't want the ink or the paint to move around on the surface. But if you're thinking about shrink plastic or drying acrylics, then you just go up to the top speed, or indeed for your embossing powder. Now, we're going to leave that there for now. I was going to use PVA, but you know what? I'm not. I'm making an executive decision because I'm now attaching these with my Tim Holtz tiny attacher, and we're going to bring these to it. And I'm just going to overlap them like that. There's nothing fancy, nothing special about it. We're just bringing them in like that. And finally, this is a nice sentiment. This is something that I pre-stamped. Do you know what? Oh, sorry, Jen. I just elbowed you now. I do apologise.
Right. It's okay.
I mean nothing by it.
I thought you said, when you said that you pre-stamped it, I thought you said a priest stamped. I was like,
no,
what?
no, it's
Why did I
pre-stamped.
priest
Sorry,
stamp?
I shall have to work on my dictionary.
No,
so
it's like you. I
there.
just didn't hear you properly.
There we are. So that's cut. I've cut that into a kind of a banner. I'm going to use my thumb just to lift that up there.
That looks so nice.
pop it on the edge. Nice and simple. Nothing fancy about this. So you see, I'm going in with my stapler again. We were going to use glue. We were going to use double-sided tape and all sorts of things to make this really pretty. But you know what? I think it adds to the look. It adds to that kind of natural kind of vibe going on with this.
That's a great masculine card, which I know a lot of people struggle for ideas for masculine, especially masculine Christmas makes.
Yeah, well, that is very masculine. It's also very kind of Nordic, I think. You know, it's got that kind of natural thing going on. And natural things, natural looking things, natural foods, natural packaging. You know, it's very popular now. So just go with the monochromes, folks. You don't need to go all super colourful all the time. But I think we've showed, I hope there's something for everybody today.
Yes. Everybody
we like to be inclusive.
Super inspired. Everybody learned so much. Thank you very much, Pete. That was amazing.
My pleasure, as always.
And you did it under 5 minutes. So
Nailed
thank
it.
you. Appreciate that. So unfortunately, it's time for the end of the show. Aww, always makes me sad. We could be here all day.
We could be here all day.
But we have more work to do.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, Pete, for
it's been a pleasure. It
just
really
everything that you show us every time. We learn so much. We're so inspired, and we love all the designs that you bring.
I just love. I think like any maker, I think we just love to share.
Yes.
You know, and I love to go to shows, and I love to meet the folks watching at home when I meet them at shows, and they tell me about their creative journey, and it's nice. Yeah. And it's such a wonderful kind of industry to work in because everybody wants to share. Everybody wants to share their ideas, and you know, it's great.
Yes, and everybody's always so like lovely and positive. So
absolutely.
Before we announce our 3 winners of the 3 prize bundles, just wanted to remind everybody that we have that special offer going on, 10% off of Chapter 4 dies when you spend over £20 at CraftStash. So head to CraftStash. It's craftstash.co.uk, or if you're in the States, craftstash.us. Time to announce our winners. Now, if you are one of the winners, please... But not yet, Pete. You've got to make an announcement about the winners. If you are one of the winners, make sure to send us a private Facebook message with your mailing address, or you can email me, Jeanette, at craftstash.co.uk, and I'll get your mailing information to the right person, and that's JANETTE. Okay, so let's do this one first. So the first winner is going to win the colorized snowman, the pine cone, and the patchwork bird. Drum roll.
Oh, I can't drum roll.
Janine Lucas.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations.
Congratulations, Janine.
Now the next prize bundle is that one. So that is the Alpine, the Christmas. What was this?
Christmas ribbon and shadow box.
And the shadow box.
Yes.
Drum roll. Rena Hurst. Congratulations. Yay. And then our last winner is going to get the snowflake box, the poinsettia. Thanks, Pete. Real helpful. And the Christmas tree.
Yeah, the folk Christmas tree.
The folk Christmas tree.
Folk Christmas tree.
Drum roll. Sharon Gullickson. Oh gosh, I totally butchered that. Sorry, Sharon. Congratulations to the winners. You
Fantastic.
have some beautiful dies coming your way. So
Indeed.
you get ready to start
we're putting elastic bands around them so they don't get all mixed up.
Yeah, because Jeanette's going to mix them up.
Yeah, because Jeanette's going to mix them up.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. She's the one who mixes them up.
I know. Yeah. It was me the whole time. Seriously, every single time. Well, thank you to everybody who watched and for all your lovely comments. And again, thank you to Pete Hughes for being here with us.
It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
I'm so glad.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.